Look, when it comes to upgrading parts in your setup, we all like the gear that we use to look nice, function well, or even have extra functions that make it even funner and more interesting to use. Some people like their microphone just to directly plug into their computer, and that's that. But some people like for that microphone to be more set up in a more professional manner, and that's when Fifine has come in now with a SC8 interface, which is an upgrade over their old SC3. But let's see how much more of an upgrade it is by testing this out. This is it right here. You'll see that we have 4 different knobs. We have 4 use buttons. That's mic monitor, 48 volts, 7.1 EQ, and I'll talk about those more shortly, as well as 4 custom buttons and a voice changer button. On the hardware side of things, we've got a button to turn the RGB off and on right there on the side. A switch to tell it PC or PS4. You have the USB connector. You have optical in, which is good for console streamers who will like that. Editor Chris here. I just wanted to point out that the older SC3 doesn't have optical input, so this being on this new one on the SC8 is a definite upgrade. And we have the headphone port, the aux in, the headset port, a switch for dynamic or condenser mic, and an XLR combo jack. I am a fan of the XLR combo jacks because let's say you wanted to connect something to it, either an old school microphone or one of these wireless mic kits that come with a dongle like this one, and I use this on our podcast, Great Technical Evening. These are super useful, but sometimes you can't connect them into a regular XLR jack. But this, because it's an XLR combo jack, just like that. And now you have wireless microphones on an interface. This is a nice feature. As far as technical specifications go, I have them up on screen right now. Pause if you need to read through them. Anyways, let's test this out at the desk. I need to ask you something. Are you subscribed to our YouTube channel? Because if you're not, hit that subscribe button, and also follow over on Twitch. Links are right over here. All right, I'm out of here. I don't like it over there. Here we are in my testing configuration, and I'm using a Fifine microphone as well. This is the Tank 3. It's XLR USB. So this interface presents a really nice option for people who go with these microphones that are USB XLR combo mics like the Tank 3 when you want to eventually step up to having an interface like the SC8 that we have right here. Now, the SC8 comes with a couple of cables. It comes with the USB cable, and it has a C to A adapter on the end of it. It's attached, so it's not one that if you take it off, you'll lose it. That's a nice little touch. It also comes with the aux cable, the 3.5mm cable, and I'm using it with my headphones plugged directly into it, and that brings us into the mic monitoring. If I turn on mic monitoring right here, mic monitoring, now I can hear myself in there, so just a quick check if I wanted to just see if there's any weird sounds coming through the microphone that way, and you can adjust on this output knob exactly how much you hear of yourself through that. And also, if you wanted to just mute that, you can press that. And now you're not hearing yourself, but I don't exactly see the benefit to the mute button here because you can just uncheck mic monitor. But that's where it comes into another thing, because I have my headphones plugged into the headphone jack. If I start playing music, for example, and I'll show you right now, like this track from Vox's backing track, Midnight Racer. By the way, it's an awesome track. Now, output also controls how much of that I'm hearing in my headphones, and that is when I might want to press mute, and now I don't hear that music playing, and this is where you guys can still hear the music. Blah, I'm getting tongue-tied over here. This brings me to something I don't like about this device, is that pushing that button doesn't mute your output or what you're hearing to the system. Anybody can still hear that as long as you're streaming or recording in OBS, and that's the output that they're hearing it from. You guys are still hearing it right now, and I think it ended and it went to an ad. So the mute on the output only controls how you hear it in your headphones. It doesn't control it to the audience. Something to be aware of, FYI. The star of the show when it comes to this mixer for me is the game chat knob. This knob is awesome. I reviewed a Fifine microphone a while ago that had a knob like that on the mic. But if you wanted that function in your configuration, you'd have to get that microphone specifically. But now you can do that with any XLR microphone and this knob. And let me show you guys how that works. So let me demonstrate that with a test with Google Chrome. I'm going to go to Google Chrome and I'm going to make that chat in my Windows audio mixer. So Fifine SC8 chat. So we're pretending Google Chrome is Discord. And what's Google Chrome doing right now? Playing music. So this music is playing. We're pretending that this is just a bunch of loud people in Discord distracting you from your game, and I just want to focus on the game for a second. I'm going to crank that over. Now all I hear is game, and I don't hear that music playing in my headphones anymore. You could even see it reflected on the meter up here. No more activity. But if I want to maybe hear a little bit of what they're saying, because I didn't want to drown them out completely, for example, I can bring it up just a little bit on the knob, and I can hear a little bit. It's super quiet in my headphones, but I can still hear the game at full volume. But now if I'm back, the round is over, I can go back to the middle, I can hear the game, I can hear chat. But sometimes you're in that break, you don't want to hear the game. There's nothing happening, but you want to hear what's going on in chat. Then you crank it over, all the way over to chat, and that will make the game quiet, and now you can hear everybody clearly at full volume like normal. And then when you're done, just put it back in the middle for balance. And it has like a notched feel in the middle, so you know where it's at based on that, but it's smooth other than that. So that knob, to me, is the star of the show, because then, like, some people will program hotkeys to mute Discord, whatever. You have a Stream Deck or anything like that, you push a button to mute Discord. That's fine, but this just makes it seamless, and I like that. Something that I do think is really cool about this, though, is the live meters that are right on it. And the meter isn't just a green meter. If I wanted to crank it and get loud, it'll go into yellow, into red. And you can see the colors light up right there. So you can even tell if you're peeking looking down right at it. You can also tell if your mic is active by looking down right at it. This brings me to another point, though. If I want to mute the mic, and what I was saying during that is, even with the mic muted, the meter still goes. So you might think that you're not muted when you are muted, and it can be confusing in that regard. Muting on the mic button doesn't actually minimize this. The mic is still technically active. It's just nobody can hear you. Then we have the aux knob right here, and the aux knob, you have other inputs on the back of this one, and that is where the aux knob will come in handy. And you know, that's useful, but for us PC gamers, PC streamers, somebody that's not going to be using that port on the back, that ends up just being a useless knob for us. And what I would like is for software to be made available that could let us reassign that knob to some other source. What if I wanted to put a browser specifically to this knob, and then I can control the volume of a browser just to that knob? That was one of my complaints with the SC3 mixer, Fifine's previous attempt at one of these, because you couldn't reprogram those knobs. They're just hard. Well, in that one it was faders, but they were just hard-coded to control something that's there already, and you have no way of customizing that. I'd like to be able to customize what on my computer I can control via this knob using a virtual sound source, which is already there. Like when you plug this in and you set it up, you get a few virtual sound sources. Let me show you guys. And here we are in the Windows 10 sound menu, and you see there's Fifine SC8 chat and Fifine SC8 game. Now if there was just Fifine SC8 aux, I can direct in the Windows sound mixer different apps, for example, Google Chrome, to go out to that SC8 aux, and then I can use that knob to control just Google Chrome, or just Discord, or just a game if I really wanted to, and I think that would be infinitely more useful. Moving on though, this is a dynamic microphone, and whether this can push like an SM7B or an Electro Voice RE20 remains to be seen. I'm unsure on those ones. You might need a cloud lifter, you might not. I do think they said it has 50 decibels of amplification, which I don't think is actually enough for those ones. Something to be considered. I'll drop a link to a more affordable version of a mic gain booster down in the description below. It's from Clark Technic. They do work pretty good, and they're only like 40 bucks, which is way better than a cloud lifter price. That said, there's a switch on the back that will let you select dynamic or condenser, but also there's a button on it that says 48 volts, and that will turn on the ability to send 48 volts to a condenser microphone. Now, I like dynamic microphones for reasons. I think for non-treated rooms or lightly treated rooms or noisier environments, a dynamic microphone is a better choice, like this one. And that's just something to consider. A condenser microphone, you're going to want like NVIDIA noise suppression turned on it at all times. It will pick up fan noise, room noise way more. So just something to consider. There's a button on it that says 7.1 as well. And this will basically enable for what you're hearing to do like a virtual 7.1 mode. You can turn it off or on and playing your games and see if you like it better or not. Something that's there. And there's an EQ button that there's no EQ for your mic with that one, but that button does allow you to change some pre-programmed EQs. There's no EQ, there's game, there's and you just push it. Right now I'm in game mode, and you can see it lighting up down there. Now it's in music mode. Now it's in I don't know what that last one is. It looks like an XLR port, kind of like 4, whatever. I'm just gonna turn it off, and then it's just normal. Now we have custom buttons, and these are sampling buttons. Anything that this mixer can hear, you can sample, whether it's your microphone, whether it's whatever's coming through your computer, music, gameplay, anything like that. You hold it down, wait till it blinks, and then you say your bit or record whatever you want, and then now you let go. Now you can push it, and it's a custom button. And I recorded one on each one. So let me show you guys on A how that works. I've already recorded one. I'm going to press it. Testing 1 2, clear voice. This is custom A. Custom A, just like that. And if I wanted to redo how that works, I'm gonna hold it down. Now it's blinking, and here I am talking, and I'm done talking. Now I let go, and now I'm gonna press the button. Now it's blinking, and here I am talking, and I'm done talking. And it routes it through the mic line. It's not like it's in there as desktop audio or anything. It's as if it's coming through your microphone. That could be useful. And I think about that like, okay, fine, I want customizable buttons where I can put my own audio files on it. And you can sort of brute force it, get stuff from YouTube and play it, record it, talk over it if you'd like. Here's one that I made for B. And that's one way to sort of make the buttons custom, but with sound effects. The classic. The music stops, you know, that's a good one. And then I made like a custom one where I just played an air raid siren on the computer, and then I talked over it like if I'm getting a Twitch raid. Raid alert, we have an incoming raid. So it becomes like a custom raid button, and I kind of like that. If you notice though, my voice sounded a little differently. There is a voice changer on this. It's all preset though. We have, you just press it once, and right now it's on megaphone, and I'm going to monitor this now so I know what this sounds like. I push the monitor button, and that's what that is. I want to change it.
Now it's on baby, if you want to call it that. I think it's like chipmunk or something.
And then it has female, what have you, whatever.
And then it has male. Apparently males are monstrous sounding.
And now we have auto-tune, and I don't really know how to make the auto-tune work better, but I know I can hear a little warbly in the voice when I listen back to it, whatever.
Then we have elder. It's just another deep voice sound, but it's at least a clear deep voice, unlike monster, which it just sounds like it's super slowed down. Like, man, I don't know. It just took a hit or something. No idea. And we also have robot. This one's really hard to understand. This one's tough to listen to.
Long press to turn it back off, and we're back. Now the meter on the right is cool because this is reflecting what you're hearing. So the volume of how it sounds in your headphones. Right now it's going on both sides because I'm monitoring the mic and I can hear myself in it. If I turn mic monitor off, now you no longer see anything there. But if I start playing music again, now you'll see it going again. And that's very low, so you actually have an idea of how low what that is that I'm playing. And if I turn the volume up on that one, it reflects just right there on the meter. And that's actually super cool. You love to see that. There's obviously a mic gain knob, and you can adjust your mic volume essentially based off of that one. And it's independent of the computer. You're not turning the mic setting on the computer up or down. It's just living within the interface here. And again, you press it to mute. Lights up red when it's muted. Same for aux and same for output. I do think though, if there was software control that let us reassign things to the knobs, at least the aux knob, that would be awesome. Like if I can map aux to one of the faders in OBS, then I can control the volume of something inside of OBS. Or if I wanted to map it to, like I've mentioned before, a browser or a game or something, I can do that. Just having more flexibility with it would be cooler than just the fixed function that it has stock, and it is what it is. And another thing that would be cool if it had software would be the ability to EQ the mic. And if it had any kind of digital signal processing that allowed for that, and maybe it could offload some of it to the computer, depending on when some things have it built in and some don't, whatever. But the ability to EQ the mic with software for it, that would also be very powerful, because a lot of microphones don't always sound great straight out of the box and pretty much need EQ. I guess maybe there's some software coming out. When I look at the Fifine website, I think it's called Fifine Genie, and maybe it will give us power to do at least some of that. Ultimately, I don't think that this is that much more of an improvement over the SC3, Fifine's previous attempt at a USB XLR mixer, and at $80 it's also a bit more expensive than the previous version. But having the game chat knob that biases how you hear whatever you're playing versus voice chat, for example, this is a huge feature improvement. This one is the big one for me. The sampling is cool, the voice changer is cool, the control of it is all cool, but that's the standout feature for me. And I know for people who stream consoles, this is also useful for you guys, because optical in and all the port selection on it, it's a well-rounded device, don't get me wrong. And I think as an interface, it does a pretty good job, especially with the extra features that it has. But I still want to see software control that lets me assign that aux to something else, another virtual output that I can make my browser or my game separately from all that. A little bit finer control through software, maybe EQ like I've mentioned, stuff like that. I think that would really make devices like this really shine. And I think software features that would also break this out into having submixes, so you can hear stuff different track or a different subsystem essentially versus what Stream hears, could also be very useful. And I think that's another thing that software could introduce. Submixes that you can assign and control by flipping a switch, by pushing one of the buttons on here, and then one thing is all Stream, like for audience, and one thing is all you, and you can adjust the volume separately on that one. So improvements can be made on this one at $80. I'm not really going to complain too much about at least submixes. But I think overall it's an okay value. It's a pretty good device. It looks nice, has a bunch of features on it. The I/O is really nice on it. Yeah, I like it. If you guys can show me a interface or USB mixer that's like this one, that's under $100, that has more features than this and more functionality than this, drop a comment down below and let's talk about it. Anyways, if you like this video, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and that bell so you don't miss a single upload. Also, I stream to Twitch every Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/CoalitionChris. So make sure you drop a follow, give me a follow, whatever. Stop in, let's talk tech. You can talk mixers. We can make suggestions on mics and interfaces and all that sort of stuff. And I'm always happy to chat with you guys. So maybe see you guys out there. And but all that said, that does it for me.